Do. Hello, people. Hello, Rykart. Good evening. Inner Peas. Good evening. I hope we are both having a great night tonight. Cement Shoes. Good evening. Elizabeth Bollinger. Good evening. TCT. Good evening. Anita Butts. Good evening, everyone. I hope we all had a great day today. Cheyenne Corin. I'm doing good. Gayla, good evening. Truly sorry I didn't have a chance to go live this morning. We had an ice storm that came through here and we lost internet. We got it back this afternoon, but I was like, couldn't do it then. I was saying goodbye to everybody and putting them on their planes and having them fly on home back to where they came from. Gemma, Vicky, hello, welcome to tonight's stream. Move to Cali? I don't think we're going to be moving to California. If it wasn't for extended family in this area, Gala, we would have moved back east to the Midwest somewhere long time ago. Purple, good evening. I was just watching your taco podcast video. Very detailed. Well, thank you, Gemma. Appreciate it. Yeah, we shot that was last night, early this morning. And neither one of us turned in until 1 o'clock this morning, somewhere in there. Cheryl, good evening. Welcome to tonight. The day isn't over yet. It's been smooth though. Oh, that's good. Hi. Tamara Van Vorst. Woost. Sorry if I butchered that. Hey, y'all. You pronounce it Vorst? Yeah, but we finally got the last of them on the plane this afternoon. We had the internet back just before we left here this afternoon to take people to the airport, and then we're like, yeah, well, Vorst or Woost. Yeah, just gonna go with Tamara. Sorry, Vorst. Like worst, but Vorst. But either way, Everybody's finally gone. They're on their way back home where they came from safely. Louise, hello from Michigan. We have one group that's flying back to Michigan. One that's going to, well, they're in Seattle now, and they're on their way back to Virginia. So Teddy Rose, good evening. Well, and everyone, good evening to you too, Teddy Rose. Welcome to tonight's stream. Shared our community tab. Well, thank you, Gemma. I appreciate it. Thumbs up. Thank you, Louise. Give it a thumbs up. All right. Well, I wanted to kind of touch on a couple of topics tonight. Well, I was going to do this morning, obviously, but it didn't work out. But in Maya from Idaho, good evening, welcome. So over the course of the last 6 months, now before I get into this, don't have pity on me, and don't look at it as poor him, or that it's shitty that it happened. This happens a lot, and it's not just me. I've reached out to quite a few different YouTube creators in different niches and genres, and they've all seen the same thing happen in the past. And to kind of give you a bigger context of what's going on, now you've heard of people be called trolls. Haters, people not going to like the content. They do it for one reason or another. Either it brings them that tiny, minute amount of recognition. Somebody either has to block them from a stream, or they have to block them, time them out, or they block them from the channel, whatever it might be. But they get that tiny little bit of satisfaction from causing turmoil. Over the course of the last 6 months, though, me and quite a few other YouTube channels, not just in true crime, but hair, makeup, automotive repair, true crime. We've seen a new trend that has started in that these people have started to use the YouTube system and the reporting system in a different way. And what they're doing is they're reporting creators' content and my content, in particular, and me for a litany of different things. And we get the following notices from YouTube. I'm going to put it on the screen so you get to read what YouTube has been sending me. This isn't the first one. This is actually the 23rd notice that I've received from YouTube. Hi there. We're reaching out because members of the YouTube community, including fellow creators, viewers, or staff, have expressed concern for your safety or well-being after coming across content you posted with topics related to suicide or self-harm. No shit. They start reporting you because they say that you have suicidal ideologies or you're self-harming yourself on video, trying to get YouTube to pull the content from your channel or age gate it, or if nothing else, notify them, putting them on record that you are doing something wrong. Then it goes on, if you or someone you know is experiencing suicidal thinking or self-harming, know there's help and you're not alone. It's not uncommon to turn suicidal thinking and self-harm as ways to cope with painful emotions. Talking to someone can help. You process these emotions as well as get support through a difficult time. We encourage you to use the resource listed in our help center. If you need support, these include organizations specific to your location. You can also visit findahelp.helpline.com to look for local mental health care providers. We care about you. No, they don't, because they didn't even sign it. They send them out as a spam reply to somebody reporting you. You are not alone, and help is available. Like I said, that's the 23rd one that I've received. And every single one of them are on different content, doesn't matter what I'm reporting on. The videos have absolutely nothing to do with self-harm, suicidal ideology, nothing. Case in point, the email the message you just saw, I got from YouTube after a video that I did on Jared Lasik. Yes, Jared Lasik and his 2 felonies that he's being charged with. That's the video. It has a picture of him, and it has big number 2 in green. You've probably seen it. But that video was reported that I was either in self-harm or I had suicidal ideologies. So, yeah, you get it. Get me. There's nothing in there about that video that even remotely touches on that subject matter. So it's just another way that they're using the system to harass creators. My friend, who owns and operates a YouTube channel talking about automotive repair. He owns a shop. He goes through and is doing automotive repair. He got that same warning on a video that he was doing replacing an alternator on a Ford F-150. Now, you may have suicidal thoughts if you are trying to replace the alternator on one of those, first gen Triton motors. But I'm joking there, but still, that's what got reported on his channel last, and he got that warning because of it. And it tells you, if I cut the email off at the bottom there, but the next part, it actually tells you and gives you a link to the video that it's been reported on, so what video has been reported. Just another way for them to harass people. Now, don't pity me or have worry about me. I'm not suicidal. I have no idea, idea or my wanting to self-harm myself. I mean, it's ridiculous. And they found that they can keep on reporting over and over again, and YouTube doesn't have a catch system in place where if you bogus report someone so many times for, different things, it kind of flags your email. And this is anonymous. So they're using it to harass. Now, imagine getting 23 messages like this in your inbox. I'm not alone. Like I was telling you about my friend who does automotive. He's gotten over a dozen himself in the last couple of months, just doing automotive repair. Another creator I know who does makeup and hair, not necessarily tutorials, but she, styles her own hair and makeup in different ways, and talks about, products in that line. She's getting the same messages. So, I would hope that YouTube would listen and put an end to it. But at the same time, I hope that, I would hope that, the least they would, in the email, product safety team or YouTube compliance or something, some kind of name of a team, that actually cares about YouTube, from the YouTube spectrum to the creator, instead of this canned email like this. So, I mean, if you get, like in my case, 23 of them, after the first one, you're like, why are they sending this to me? I'm not doing anything wrong. I don't know why they're sending it to me about this video, or but then by the time you get to the 23rd, you're kind of like, well, that's just dumb. And then boom, 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 boom. I don't know if these trolls are hoping that this content is age gated, or if YouTube is going to like keep an eye on me. I don't know what they're hoping the outcome will be, other than to fill my inbox with messages like that. Oh, but I would hope that somebody at YouTube, if they really did stumble upon somebody who had ideologies of hurting themselves, that they would reach out to them. But or the person who actually sees the content would reach out to them directly. But isn't that fun? I just wanted to bring this to everybody's attention that this has been the new norm for being a YouTube creator. Yay. Gotta go, everyone. Take care and have a great evening. Thank you, Will, sir. Well, Gayla, thank you, and you have a terrific week ahead. Try to read some of the messages now while I was blabbing away. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody that joined. Oops. Our oldest son drove from Michigan to our place in Indiana today. Wow, that's a good drive. Well, it must have been nice to see your old son, Tamara. A little blurry. Yeah. It's actually only about that big, and I expanded it out. I don't know how to make it smaller. It's Google Slides. It actually expands it to fit the actual screen. So sorry about that, but I read the entire thing as much as I could. But the whole thing it ended again. It doesn't even say a product team or a department. It just ends with please take care. And then down here at the bottom, below that is a link to the actual video that it was reported on. I cut that off. So, Megan, son graduated from IU in '99. It gives them momentum of sunshine while they're living in their mother's basement and not going on dates. What's cool is for Thanksgiving here, cement shoes. We had my daughter's boyfriend. Him and his dad flew all the way here from Virginia for Thanksgiving. It was really nice to actually meet them in person. It's the first time I've met them in person. I knew their name, knew of them by their names, but I've never actually met them until this past week. No, Will, I love that you don't spend the first 5 to 10 minutes of the same 3 to 4 sponsors in every single video. That's why we are more likely to be members and use Patreon. Well, thank you, Tamara. I haven't had turned on ads. Ads on my video content have been turned off since November, except for live streams. After every live stream, I turn them on. They're not turned on until after live streams. If you see an ad on one of my videos, that's not me. I'm not making any from it. Zero. I've turned it off. I haven't left the partner program or the monetization. I just decided to turn it off. because I turn it on for live streams after each live stream. And you'll see ads then. Those belong to me, and I actually paid for those, but not the actual real videos. Will someone please come do your hair? Only been in Indiana 8 years actually. Indiana's a pretty place. I've been to Indiana quite a few times, especially when my father was alive. I used to go to Indiana a lot because my father was a master cabinet maker, and whenever he heard that they were taking down an old barn, and he could find old growth timber, he'd hook everything up, trailer and all, and away we go. And we used to make a road trip out of it. We never stayed anywhere. If we got tired, we slept in the old station wagon with the trailer, or in a truck with the trailer, whichever it was at that time. I don't think it was Jared that cement shoes. It's all spam. Diana Bowman, good evening. Carrie Schneider, good evening. Freezing here in West Seattle. I'm sorry, Carrie. It is, well, it's flashing right now. It says rain ice mixture. Rest on the bottom of my screen, it's got a ticker for my weather forecast. It says rain snow mixture tonight until 11:30. Yay! That's gonna be fun. Gonna wake up tomorrow and do that. Got errands I have to run on Sunday. Did I miss system? Well, you have to, not certain words, replace suicide with unalive. I wish that's what it was. You seen these emails, Gemma? Did somebody report you as well? Oh, and before you guys think this is just like an automated it matched words, in a video. Nowhere in any of the videos that I mentioned suicide, death, or self harm. Nowhere in that, and especially like the first one, or I mean the last one of Jared. 2 felonies. I never mentioned death penalty. I never mentioned death. None of it. But I got this message from that video. And it says right there, in the first part, we're reaching out because a member of the YouTube community, including fellow creators or viewers. Have another drink, it won't be blurry. Well, I'm sorry if they've emailed you. People have reported you, Gemma. It's one company is a scam. The one where they sell type like Lord, the 1 square foot of land, and you can call yourself legally Lord or Lady. I know somebody who actually bought one of those certificate things. You get 1 square foot of land in Scotland. I lived IB in Chicago till I was 12, so I went to Indiana frequently. Loved Phil Schmidt's restaurant. I don't know. When we went to Indiana, I don't remember ever eating at a restaurant. Probably did, like a roadside diner or something. But a lot of the times, my mom used to pack us lunches and meals to go. I mean, I was just a little guy. I was probably between the ages of 6 and 8, right in there, because my father passed away when I was 10. So it had to be before then. In the last year of his life, he was pretty ill. People report you all the time. Gemma, I'm truly sorry that happens to you. It doesn't even bother me, that people report me. I because you get one chance at the age gate, and in case you're not familiar what age gating is, YouTube they rule that there's a restriction on your video content, that it's only for those of mature audiences, and you get one chance to appeal that. I mean, most times they say it's done by a person, and I put that in quotes, but you can tell that it's done by a computer. Originally, that's what did the reported content was a computer that actually age gated it and used to appeal it. Most of the time, it's not a person, because they're going to rule the same way on error on the side of precaution, anyways. It happens. Excuse me. It would just be like a troll in a video. It's okay. Well, it's because my topic is controversial. Are, are you on monetize, and are you clicking on when you go through the self monetization settings, Gemma? Are you marking it as a controversial topic, or are you clicking that box down at the bottom that's none of them? I found that if you click on the first one, you're talking about it in a fleeting manner, or you're talking about it in context, that it's different, that they see it differently. But it's kind of weird just how the system works sometimes. I wasn't clicking controversial, but I do now, because I mean they seem to look at it differently, when it comes to monetization of the actual content. If you click it, the first one at the top is fleeting, or controversial subject matter. Excuse me. But if everybody who's gotten these emails, we're all convinced that it's a troll. It's not being the videos are not being flagged. Um, my friend who does hair and makeup, she's doing her own hair. She didn't use a knife. She didn't use a flamethrower, to cut her hair. She was using scissors. Um, she wasn't like pointing them at her throat in any part of the video. So there's none of that in her video, and she got them on that video. And other ones where she was talking about cruelty-free lipstick. Nowhere in there did she mention death, suicide, self-harm. She got them. So we're all convinced that somebody's reporting them and using it as a tactic to harass creators, and that's all it is. Controversial option. I mean, but I don't know what Gemma's pay rate is, her CPM, but my CPM is 3/10 of a cent. So that's why I turned it off. 3/10 of a cent. You need a lot of views to make a dollar at 3/10 of a cent. And the ads get in the way, and they bug people that there's an interruption, or they have to wait for the counter to click off of the stupid ad. It's more of a pain in the behind than it's worth. Purple, I'm sorry, I'm so tired, I'm falling asleep. See you all later. Love to the fam on full one now. Well, good night, Purple. Nobody does mine. But I did see on Shark Tank last week that there was a pitch for it's the second one that I've seen on there for a cosmetics company for men. Someone who has a son with autism. So much ends up controversial. That is true. Um, I'm me and my wife are grateful that our taco podcast channel. We frequently talk about autism and spectrum disorder. We're not monetized on that channel, so but we're happy that we're not because we don't have to deal with it. So, and even if we get to the point of excuse me, even if we get to the point of monetization on there, we don't think we're ever going to turn it on. But Gemma is, autistic. She's on the spectrum herself, and she talks about, subject matter in and around her life and things that are important to her. So if you want, great channels to subscribe to, check out Gemma's channel. I'm a subscriber, and I watch everything she puts out. You can learn a lot from just watching her, live her life, and think and talk about things that she finds interesting, or hard to deal with. Oh, thank you, Gemma. Appreciate it. On social media and TV. Well, this was on Shark Tank, where they were pitching. The company was looking for an investor in the products that they make. Um, One of them was kind of interesting because they had more than just cosmetics. They were more of a rounded company. The first one I saw was just basically makeup for men. For those who are into like manscaping and you know, it definitely was aimed towards a much younger audience, like a TikToker, and stuff like that. Social influencer, if you want to call them that. But the second company had a much more rounder, diverse product line. They made everything from wipes to cosmetics to shampoos, conditioners, leave-in conditioners, stuff like that. I think the second one got funding from Damon John. I think his name is Damon. I don't watch the show a lot. I just saw the video on like the highlight video on YouTube. Much Gemma is awesome. Mike. Oh, hey, I missed you, Mike. Mike Stevens. Good evening. Good evening, Mike. I hate this stupid chair. I gotta get my other chair fixed. I lost a bolt out of it. This one just keeps on sinking. The hydraulics have gone out of it. Usually watch it on social media as well. Shark Tank. The Shark Tank that I find more interesting is the one from Australia. Australia, New Zealand one. That one. I find that one more interesting. And I think they have a BBC version as well. A European version. But I just find that the products and and the pictures, a lot more exciting than the American one. The American one just seems to be more repetitive of the types of companies that come along. I'm not interested in in tech companies or people who've come up with a new way to have a dating app. Well, we have a great community here, Gemma. We treat each other as and we respect each other. That's what's number one. But thank you. I'm glad that a lot of people are showing you support and love. I would hope that someday, if my son was to, ever want to do something like this, YouTube or social media, I mean, it's eventually going to come. I mean, it ain't like social media is going away anywhere. But I would hope that someday, if he was to do, get on social media, that people would treat him, with respect and understanding as well. Fortunately, there's a lot of people out there, that are really ignorant, of people who are different than themselves, especially those who are, not neurotypical. I'm still wondering what, if people say like, that someone is not neurotypical, what is? I've met a lot of people in my lifetime, and people who act differently, react to circumstances differently, think differently, act differently, in different situations. I mean, what's normal? I wish somebody would define that. Everybody wants to put everybody else who's slightly different from them in a box, and paint them in that corner. But what's normal? Oh, thank you, Inner Peace. Most of the entertainment is in response. Because I know I'm not normal. I'm proud to be different. The government label to make us comfortable. Yeah, well, does it make us comfortable though? Does it make the government comfortable? You know, I get letters all the time from the government here that want me to apply for disability benefits for my son because he doesn't get any. Um, Other than he does get one benefit now, and that's for speech therapy. But that's just because we need that for him because he's speech delayed. And the only way we were able to get it was to to plead with the state to actually get speech therapy for him. Louise says there is no normal. There is no normal as far as I'm concerned. I just want someone to explain. They're constantly saying that all these people over here are not normal and they're not neurotypical. I'm like, but what is neurotypical? What is normal? I mean, if you just go around this country, the United States, you'll find people from all walks of life who act and think differently and have different circumstances that affect how they live life. But anyways, like I was saying, we finally got my son speech therapy and his own tablet that's was paid for by the state for it's kind of like a PEX program on a tablet. I can't remember the name of the program right now. Well, you have given me a video topic. There you go. I'm glad I could help, Gemma. The normal ones turned out to be Ted Bundy's. The Ted Bundy's of the world. There's a lot of those, aren't there? At least it seems like there are. There are a lot more Ted Bundys than there, than definitely to be. Normal is boring. And Z's. I think if we embrace the differences that we all have, we'd be much better off. But we have to embrace our differences instead of trying to paint everybody into a box. You can look at politics that way as well. People, they vote down party lines, and they want everybody else to vote like them. Be with me. Be with me. Be this way. Be this way. And then don't be like these people. These over here. No, no, no. Be like us. Be like us. Why can't we just vote for the person we think would do the best job? That's the way I vote. But I understand people. They have their ideas, and they think that this is the party of families. This is the party that's tough on crime. This is the one that's going to take away my rights. Is it, or is it the individuals? Because I've seen people, who are supposedly the party of family, who've been, elected to office, and turns out that they're pedophiles. I've seen people who, are the tough on crime, commit crimes. I've seen people who say that they're, pro Second Amendment, who will vote for a bill to, restrict gun ownership. I've seen it all. So why is there anybody or one group that's this, or this? Because we want to put them in little places and say this is this, this is this. It makes us maybe feel better about what's going on in the world. There ain't nobody in Washington, no matter what political party it is going to help you in your day-to-day life. People that, when it comes to politics, that will affect your life on a day-to-day basis are on your city councils, your school boards, and your city management, and port managers. Those are the ones that are going to affect your day-to-day life. I only vote Republican after Pelosi. Well, Ted Bundy would have turned 76 on Thursday. Voted Trump in 20 and will again in 2024. Hey, Kanye West is running. Why not Kanye? I mean, he's just as nuts as anybody else who's running for political office. Well, maybe Kanye's a little bit worse. A free pair of Yeezys. I want the feds out of my life. Yeah, we all do. Kanye is awful. I don't understand what that man's doing. Why not Kim Kardashian? I don't know. Maybe we can, if we all get together and start a letter campaign, we can convince Kim to run. I don't know why she's not running. Maybe she doesn't have any political ambitions. I just know that it's really hard to find anybody who's ever run for federal political office that is left poorer than they were when they went into office. It's a proven fact. But anyway, that's enough about politics. Don't care about politics. Smoke them if you got them, ladies and gentlemen. Was that Kanye that said that, Gemma? So did everybody have a pleasant Thanksgiving? It was Kanye who said that. Wow. Well, I guess he's not getting my vote, is he? I had a pretty good Thanksgiving. It was, extremely busy. Getting all the food together and preparing for it all, and then cooking it yesterday. And timing it to make sure it all got done at the same time. You know, I, but I think for overall, I mean, if I have to give myself a letter grade on it, I'd probably give myself maybe a B plus. I was able to make sure and put it all on a schedule, so I knew when everything would be done and when it would all, everything would be ready. Some things could have definitely went a lot smoother, but you don't celebrate Thanksgiving there, Gemma? I'm sorry. Oh, Inner Peace went to the beach. There you go. Hard economic situation. Well, I'm sorry, Brickhart. Hopefully next year is a much better for you. Well, we had a good mix of people, who came to our Thanksgiving dinner. Young, old, left, right, liberals, Republicans, Democrats. Yeah, we even had two people who aligned themselves with the Communist Party. They were even here. Then we had my daughter's, boyfriend and his father, who came here from Virginia. Like I was saying, it was really nice to finally meet them. So that was interesting, and it was also, it was great to talk to them and learn more about them, in person. Whole day cooking, and then he fell asleep. I know a lot of people are, struggling, to make ends meet, in all different aspects of society right now. The when it comes to inflation, especially those who are on fixed incomes, inflation goes up, the gas prices go up. You're not necessarily making more money. You don't see it more in your paycheck to, move up along the, lines with inflation in gas prices. And now with fuel oil prices and stuff like that, it's really hitting home to the pocketbooks. I mean, natural gas prices are through the damn roof because we have natural gas, for our home for heating. It's actually, we don't have a tank, but it's supplied through, through a pipeline. But it's more than doubled in price. Natural gas has, and that's our heating source for our, for the home, for hot water and for heat. We have hot water on demand system. Oh, I'm sorry, Tamara, that you weren't feeling well. Yeah, my wife has been a little under the weather as well. She kind of lost her voice. Um, it started with my son. We all know, where it all came from. He got it at school from another kid and then brought it home and decided to share it with the entire family. That was really sweet of him. So gave our natural resources away. Ooh, the whole damn thing shifted over. Since your mom died, I tell myself the holidays are just another day. That's tough. It's tough, Tamara. That's really tough. I celebrate the holidays even though my father's no longer with me. The holidays were always one of the times of every year that my father always looked forward to. So I celebrate the holidays out of respect for him. I don't feel like putting on a big huge celebration for the holidays. I mean I certainly don't. I mean if I had it my way for Thanksgiving, I would have went to Denny's and had something for dinner. Because that's about the only thing open here is Denny's. I would have went there and had dinner, but instead, I cooked for 20 people, and because they weren't going to cook for themselves. Some of them don't have the economic ability to cook for themselves or go anywhere else to eat. And just the gathering itself, and everybody enjoying the time that and family together. That's what means more to us is spending time with family. I'm sorry, Mike. You feel the same way? Never had the big C COVID? Well, Mike, it's not fun. I don't know what else to tell you. I had COVID, and it isn't fun. Both my parents are gone. The mother-in-law, due to dementia, doesn't know what's going on. I'm sorry about that, Tamara. Yeah, dementia is not good. I took care of my grandfather for the last couple of years of his life. He had Alzheimer's, and we it was fun and kind of exciting, and funny in the beginning. When he would mix up people's names or he thought I was my dad. That was kind of humorous. But as it progressed, it got worse and worse. We tried everything. At that time in the early '80s, mid '80s, there wasn't as many services as there are now today. But I mean that's the way society is, though, right? You got vaccines 4 times, so you had all the boosters then. Well, they say it's gonna come around. They predict it along with the flu. They know that the new variant is easier to catch and it's going to hit people. You know, we're going to see another hit of spike of COVID. I mean, my friend Tim, he had all the boosters and everything else, and he still got COVID, but it wasn't as bad, as it could have been. He didn't have the respiratory, distress. He didn't end up in the hospital. He said for the first like 3 or 4 days, it just felt like he got hit by a car. And then the cold chills and everything else was kind of like the flu but intensified. But they knew he got COVID because him and his daughter both tested positive for COVID at the same time. The the fourth vaccine gave me breathing issues though. I'm sorry about that. But that is, a lot of people object to getting the shots because some people do have adverse reactions to it. That's known. They've known that before the vaccines were ever released. They knew some people would have it. And then there's other people who can't get it because of health issues, who that they have already. Burnt dice. Good evening, burnt dice. 12-year-olds are having heart attacks now. Are they? Well, welcome to tonight's chat, burnt dice. I didn't hear about the 12-year-olds who are having heart attacks. I know that there've been a lot of stories in the news about children who had adverse reactions and died due to getting a COVID shot. But when you actually look at their medical history, it turns out that these children already had a pre-existing condition that and along with the shot intensified that and that's what caused the medical condition. It wasn't like a healthy 12-year-old or whatever age they were running around got the shot and died moments later. There have been a couple of cases though that they've definitely contributed to getting the COVID shot, but a lot of myth and misinformation out there about the shots. A lot, but to each their own. I mean, if you don't want to get the shot, don't get the shots. I've been telling people that since COVID came around. If you don't want to get it, don't get it. If you don't want your family or your kids to get the shots, don't get it. Just understand that if they do get COVID, it could be a life-threatening disease depending upon their underlying health conditions beforehand. All family, but in a good way. That's what I'm dealing with. My mom's siblings fighting over their parents' house like a pack of wolves. Low lives relatives stole my dead father's car. It's a mess. I've seen it happen. Unfortunately, cement shoes. I've been there. I've been there. I've seen it happen. My mom's fiance got cancer and died, unfortunately. And before he was even in the ground, his brothers and extended family members came in and started putting their names on items in the house that they wanted, and they didn't know whose it was. They just said, yeah, that's mine, I'm taking that. They took the cars, the trucks, the tools. Hell, one brother came in the day of his funeral, and we had like we call like a service bay in the garage, and he tried to figure out how to take the lift out of the garage. Like he was going to be able to lift that stupid thing, if you took it apart in sections. I think each pole weighed like 500 pounds, but he thought for some reason he was going to be able to disassemble it and put it in the back of a pickup truck. But it happened, and it really sucks, that you've had to experience that. Get it or don't get it. Just don't shame people either way. Everybody in my household has had every COVID shot and booster, because they all work in the healthcare, and I guess you could call them frontline workers, even though my wife didn't work at that point. She's never been a nurse. She worked in the lab, and my daughter works at the end of life care. but it's not something that they all had to have it because they dealt with the public in some capacity every single day. So they all had to have the shots, my mother-in-law included. And the only I know of them who had any adverse reactions to it was because they already had the flu. My mother-in-law had the flu and she got the shot, the booster. So it definitely affected her, made her flu a lot worse than it, I guess, normally would have been. But I think they now recommend if you have the flu not to get the booster while you're still sick. You had to get the vaccine. No. Thank you for being a teacher, Inner Peace. But my son's teacher refused to get the vaccine or any of them because she was convinced that it was untested and that she was going to die or have an ill side effects from it, and she refused to do it. So even though they hadn't moved out the vaccines for children yet, she refused to do it. She got COVID anyways, and then she was convinced. I don't know where she got the idea, probably from the internet somewhere, but she was convinced that the government had purposely given her COVID. So somehow, she believes in these wacky conspiracy theories. So we promptly took our son out of that classroom and moved him to another. We don't need somebody who's going to believe in these bizarre theories, being the person in charge of, in teaching our child. Teachers don't get enough respect, though. They don't. I don't even think my family here, appreciates teachers as much as they should. Including my family, my sisters, and my wife, and others within my family. They're like, well, that's a hard job to have. I wanted to become a school teacher at one point. I ended up in the ER after the second shot. I knew I had the listed per CDC listed side effects. Mm. We have a teacher who wouldn't get vaccine. They had to get her tested every week. The worst thing was, during all that, the early part of the COVID outbreak, you know, and any child that turned up with a temperature or anything that even looked remotely like a cold or a flu, that they put them in lockdown quarantine, give them a mask and send them home. That they a lot of people in a lot of situations way overreacted. Now looking back on it in hindsight, but then again, when COVID first broke out, we really didn't know just how bad it was going to get, and what the total devastation was going to be. So yeah, people did err on the side of safety quite a bit, but I know wearing a mask. Um, when it comes to children like my son, you know, um, he's that already. He's on the spectrum, and he uh, he has problems reading facial expressions or understanding what someone's saying. So if he does look at you, he never looks at you in your eyes. He's looking at your chin or your mouth, to try to gain some kind of understanding of what you're saying. And you put a mask on him, and everybody's wearing a mask. That really, didn't help him in his education. Teachers are quitting due to behavioral problems in students and refusal to do anything about the students. That's not new, Tamara. Not new. There may be more now. I mean, there's a lot of things that that come to play when it when people leave the teaching profession as a whole. And a lot of it's compensation to start off with. If you have piss poor compensation, in the public school system, and you can transition to a private school, make more, and have the same benefits, why would you be in a public school? Or if you transfer out of the public school, to another career, maybe as, in the tutoring or an SAT, prep, somewhere along that line, you make the same, if not more, you know, for doing the same type of work where you're appreciated more. People leave because of that. And then there's burnout. I know a lot of school teachers, especially in the elementary school levels, like K through 5, who've left the profession because they get a salary, right? We all know that. But these teachers were spending, X amount of money of their own money just to make and get the requirements, because the school system didn't supply everything that they needed to teach the students. And then they used the standardized testing to show that they're actually teaching, and that they're doing their job. When we find out, well, standardized testing doesn't work for all students, but they still used it anyways as a metric for, if is this teacher even are they worth it at all. And then there's issues like you brought up there, with behavioral issues in children, and no one wanting to really step in and correct the behavior. I mean, there's a whole litany of things that, if you had all of those, and then the behavioral issue of some of the students, came into effect, either they're violent or they're rude, or whatever it may have been. You add that on top of it, it's like, why the hell would I want to be here? I could make more money working at Home Depot, than being here as a school teacher. And we just don't put the money and support behind it. And I've seen, and also at the same time, the school system spend millions of dollars, brand new buildings, and then yet never compensate the teachers to a level where they could, survive, and they didn't have to use their own money to teach the students, where they're not going to get reimbursed. Some places do, I will admit, to have reimbursements of teachers, spend money on, to a certain extent to help their students, but not every place has that. So me and my wife have been fighting our school board for well over a year and a half now. Some of these people who got elected, who are currently still school board administrators and officers on the school board, they flat out lied to get elected, and immediately once they came in, everything that they ran on that they would never do, they turned right around, and did them anyways. And I don't even want to bring up. I could talk for hours about how school systems, not just in my area, but in a lot of school systems, how they've cut back on the total dollars that they spend on students, who they call special needs, like my son. They cut the budget back so much, to they're basically like, what, we're never going to get them to the level, of the others. So why are we spending money on this? And they stripped away programs, and features of it because they just didn't see the need. I mean, How do you get elected to the school board and say, you know what, we need to balance the budget. Let's strip the money away from the kids who need it the most. For those who are poor, or maybe they're not neurotypical. Let's take the money away from those who need it the most. Let's put it towards the sports programs, or do away with it altogether, and then give ourselves like a 9% raise. Well, that's what we saw in our local school board. And it probably happens in a lot more areas than people know, but we just happen to watch ours. We watch them very closely. Crisis Cast. Good evening. Hi, Will. Long time no see. Long time no see as well. How are you doing? The administrators for supplies. Yeah, you're doing well. Good. Good. It's everywhere. Well, I know I've seen it, and I speak of the areas that I've lived or have been. I've seen it in the suburbs of Minneapolis, St. Paul. I've seen it there. I've seen it here in Washington State. It's awful. That you see it. I mean, take for instance my son's school. They did away with all music programs. Then they did away with all humanities, art, and anything like that at all within the school. So we have a stage at the school that's used only for the principal to stand on to make announcements to the students. Like twice a year. We have the PA system for it all, but they did away with the program. They brought in volunteers who work with the local nonprofit. What do they call that? It's a nonprofit like I'm trying to think what they call it. Community theater, I guess. Community theater. They brought them in to and along with some people from the local orchestra to volunteer. There's no money. They're not getting paid at all just to run the program. And then the school said, "Nah, we just don't have the money for any of this. It's taking up too much time, and we need them in more in the area to prepare for the standardized testing." So we're just not going to be able to send the students to these classes anymore. It's a sad day when you get rid of all humanities within the school system. It's a sad, sad day, especially art, and music. That might be that one thing that keeps that student in school. Theater arts. Yeah. I know for myself, growing up, art class was always that one thing, I could always look forward to. That one place where, it was my safe zone where I felt I could express myself. And to a lot of kids, maybe that's the one thing that they need, that keeps them interested in coming back to school. Maybe they don't have the best home life, but they can even if they're not the best at it, they feel safe there, or they can express themselves there, and that's a lot. And when you strip those things away from the school system completely, and you never bring them back, well, where are they going to get that after school? Who's going to teach it after school? Chris Mack. Greetings, Chris Mack. Welcome to tonight's chat. I hope you are doing well. The schools claim to not have money. The DOT claimed to not have money. All government debts claim to not have any money. We need to start holding people accountable for misuse of spending. Yeah, I'll agree to that to a large extent. I don't know about, the DOT, Department of Transportation. I've never audited their books or looked at it, so I can't really, comment on that. But accountability is important. I mean, you'd be surprised. You know, it wasn't until this past year, kind of going back to the school system, but uh, they realized about a year ago that our local school system, that the last 5 bond issues had all expired, but they were still collecting money for all 5 of them. They just realized they forgot to take them off. That's a lot of school bond, that were passed, and it expired a long time ago. But they just kept on charging, homeowners, you pay for it in your taxes, on your home. But I was like, what? Yeah, they realized, oh yeah, oops. So your taxes never go down. But so then they're like, well, we'll make it up to you. We still haven't seen it. Amy, 62. Good evening. 200 billion to Ukraine. I don't know, Mike. I think of what's the if we let on that front though, if we were to let Russia take over Ukraine, where would they have stopped? I always think of it that way. I mean, when it's 200 billion, in aid or arms or money, or maybe it's 200 billion in each, and we give to them, where would Russia have stopped? What country would we not allow for them to take? Do we allow them to take other NATO countries? Do we allow for them to take back all of the sovereign nations that are around them that are former Soviet bloc countries? Do we allow them just to come back in and commit another genocide? I mean, if it wasn't going to be us, who was going to stop them? I mean, you might look at the dollar figure and say $200 billion is ridiculous. And I'll admit, $200 billion, what you could do here in America for $200 billion is a hell of a lot of good. But you have to look at the entire global system, and what they planned on doing and what they still plan on doing. I don't think they're done. If they can't get Ukraine back, they're going to start snatching back up the other bloc countries. And what about those sovereign citizens that are those people who are of their own sovereign nation, who have their own constitutions, their own rights to live? Should they be exterminated? Where do we draw the line on loss of life? It's a hard thing to sit down and look at and think about. I can't say what's right or wrong on that front. I just know that when it comes to Russia, and their invasion into Ukraine, they did it underneath false pretenses. They lied to their country on why they're doing it. I mean, people could say, hell, here in America, we've lied, about everything, every war we've ever gotten into. Were we really in Iraq and in Afghanistan? Were we really there to, stop global terrorism, or were we there to protect, the oil platforms and the oil, that we needed? I mean, you can look at it one way, or you can look at it the other way. I know this much: I would have a lot more of my friends alive today if we never went there. I wouldn't have my buddies who have, scrambled brains, now trying to find a way to survive in life if they had never gone there and experienced what they they lived through. Got friends who are missing body parts because of what we went through there. But were we protecting oil, or were we stopping what we caused? Because don't forget, we created Osama bin Laden. The United States government created him. We put him in place, and we gave him the arms and the weapons and the technology and the know-how to fight the Russians. And then once we did it, we're like, uh-oh, we created a monster. We got to go stop it now. But if I look at the world map, if they would have taken over, Ukraine and maybe Belarus or some of the other countries, where would they have stopped? And where are they going to stop? If we don't help them, who's going to? I mean, look at the aid packages alone. They don't see all the other United Nations, nations stepping up and giving $200 billion. They give a little. They give what they can. They give their, some technology, some weapons, some aid, but it's nowhere near us. Do we have to be the country that steps in and has to foot the major part of the bill? I don't think we should. But that's the situation we are in this global world. What scares the hell out of me is what is going to be the end game. Because Putin can't just walk away, and admit defeat. Can't do it. He can't look at his country and say, I just slaughtered 65,000, 85,000 young men, because I have an ego. He's got to come up with some kind of end game. There's got to be some way, for him to, claim victory, or something. So, but that's just my take. I could be completely wrong. I don't know. Weapons of mass destruction. Yeah. Wasn't that fun? The weapons of mass destruction that Saddam Hussein supposedly had. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. Saddam Hussein was an evil son of a bitch. Sorry for my language, but he was. I mean, he committed genocide against the entire population, in his own country. He gassed them, men, women, and children. I mean, we all know that, and everybody knew that, but that wasn't the reason why we went there. It was for the weapons of mass destruction. And was our information wrong? Our intelligence, if you will, was it wrong? Yes, and they never found him, and they never will. I mean, unless you consider what he had already used against his own people. Religion to deceive. I think in the world, on the world stage, I mean, who hasn't used religion to deceive their people? I mean, it's been happening since mankind, has walked upright. Beliefs, one religion over another. We always pit, these people against those people. You don't want to be with those people. You want to be over here because we're the right. We're we're right. They're wrong. Smoke them if you got them. 420 somewhere. Why is that highlighted? I've never seen a comment like that. Am I supposed to like click on something? You voted for not one dime for Ukraine? And that's your right, Mike. That is absolutely your right to, not want to, send a dime of money over there. I'm not saying that we're absolutely right. I mean, I think we should have been involved. I think we should have, helped support it in some way. But I really have an issue with us being the sole, deep pocket, to support it. Do we have to destroy ourselves to help others? I mean, Ronald Reagan said it the best, nothing will boost the economy like a good old fashioned war. We can't be involved in it ourselves. Let's do it by proxy. And that's what we're basically doing. We're at war there by proxy. I got both, Reichardt. Coffee and cigarette. 8:30 at night, and I'm still drinking coffee. Got a lot of work I still need to do tonight. Can't go to sleep. No sleep for the wicked. No rest for the wicked. They sent most because it was money laundering. Does anybody remember the pallets full of cash, American currency, that we sent over to Iraq that they never were able to find? Pallets, ladies and gentlemen. And I've seen, I've never saw it personally, the pallets of cash, but I've seen pictures and video of it. We're talking millions and millions of dollars in actual printed U.S. currency that was shipped over there, and it just vanished. Nobody knows where it is. What happened to it all? Did it go to the people that it was supposed to? Having soup? You're hardcore here? Palletized cash, yep. I know, I don't know where it all came from, but we would always see currency, U.S. currency, when I was over there. Yeah, I don't know where it originally came from. It wasn't a whole lot. It wasn't like pallets full of cash, but definitely saw it. You'll be climbing the walls by midnight, my friend. Too much caffeine, maybe. Well, I might be, Mel. I might be, but I have a lot of stuff that I have to work on still tonight. If I don't get to bed until 2, 3, yeah, so be it. Tomorrow's my off day, so most of that war were for the poppy fields. No, it's all poppy fields. They're all over the damn place there. At least where I was. having soup. So inner peas. Um, we had soup earlier. What I did was I took the turkey that was what was left of it, the bones and everything, and I put it in a stock pot. Right after we were done eating and carving the turkey, I put it in the stock pot and filled it full of water, and then I boiled it the bones down, then strained it, removed all the bones, but then I added carrots, celery, potato to it, and then I added the leftover gravy and stuff like that to it, and made like a soup, and then I made um, little tiny what would you call them? Kind of like biscuits, but they're really really small, about the size of a quarter. Not dumplings, but I made like biscuits, and then I threw those in there. It was so good. But now I've got an entire stock pot full. We won't be able to eat it all in the next couple of days, so I'll probably end up freezing it, and then we can take it out of the freezer as we need it. But that's what I did with the what was left over of the turkey. Made soup out of it. And once you boil it down, then you cool it down and you put ice cubes in the top, and it'll solidify all the grease and oil, and then you just take our tongs and take the oil off the top. So really good. You're having turkey soup. Throw away the bones, leftover. Give it to me. There you go. It's the best soup, and a nice hearty soup on a cold day. At least here it is. It's 31 degrees right now. So, and it is currently freezing rain outside. So we're getting freezing rain. Turkey soup, yum, yum. I don't know who owns them right now, Tamara. I never saw anybody put a sign up that said these are, French or German, or these are American, or these poppy fields belong to, Great Britain. I never saw anybody actually, put a sign up for them. I know in a lot of areas that is the only thing that will grow there. You couldn't grow corn or wheat there. Some of them they do, go between different crops, but they mainly grow poppies because that's it's a cash crop, and it's what grows in that soil, which is not very nutrient, dense. So it's good. Hmm. But I'm sure that when it comes to who controls the area, I guess you could say that this country owns it, but the United States is gone, so we're not there, at least not there, as a military force to control that, and I'm sure the Taliban owns and controls it all now, and, if or in some aspect. Turkey soup by proxy. I might go in and have some more while I have to send off some emails. Grab my laptop here and go in, have another bowl of soup, and do that. Well, that happened, Tamara. Yeah, it's a horrific, mistake. Friendly fire is not a good, not good anywhere on it. It doesn't matter what side you're on. You can't blame the people, necessarily for what a group that is stronger and larger than them, um, and tells them, extremists, what these extremists, tell the people they're going to do and what they're not going to do. I mean, when it comes down to it, it's either you do what they say or they kill you, or they kill your entire family. And that's the kind of pressure a lot of people there are living underneath. If the Taliban, or tells them to grow poppies or whoever it might be, a drug lord or whoever it might be, you know, and they tell them to do it, they do it. Good evening, half rudder. So I moved to Florida. Holidays are lame. We try, but brown leaves, pumpkins, and green evergreen don't quite do in 85 degrees. Well, but it's better than freezing. I mean, it's 31 degrees here right now. We have freezing rain, but I hope you had a wonderful holiday, though, half rudder. I know what isn't the same, as back east. I mean, back home from four. Wars have no winners, only losers. I think there's a song about that. Hmm. Ooh, God. What is war good for? Absolutely nothing. Say it again. Yep. Fighting over religion or something. We've been doing it since humans have been upright. And we'll keep on doing it. Wars over religion, piece of soil. No winners, only losers. Northeast weather. I miss well, we get cold here. I mean, cold normal. Heat, extreme heat. But to me, when it comes to like the holidays, there's a difference on where I am and how they celebrate the holidays here versus back home. It's completely different. But it's still the holidays. As long as you have family and friends around, that's all that matters really to me. Everyone's safe, and responsible. You leaving, Tamara? Well, good night to you. Mid 50s. It's not bad in Fort Stockton, Texas is where I'm at tonight. It's in the mid 50s, but pretty windy. I don't think I've ever been to Fort Stockton. Again, I'm not sure where Fort Stockton is. I've been to quite a few places in Texas. I may have driven by it, but I don't think I've ever been there necessarily. At least it's not ringing a bell with me, right, Cart? It's 11:40 there. Well, Tamra has got to be on the East Coast, which is 3 hours difference from where I am. It's only 8:40 here. Well, my dear friends, I have to say good do and only me to do them. Much love. Good night, Mel. You stay safe out there. Until next time, sweetheart. You taking off, Gemma? Did I miss Gemma's leaving? Yeah, what is? Isn't it morning time over across the pond? Excuse me. I'm gonna have to wrap this up soon myself because I'm almost out of coffee. And I do have to fire off some emails tonight still. Got to get back to some people that have emailed me this weekend. Well, this past week. It feels like it today should be Sunday because the holiday kind of messed me all up on what day of the week it is. But I do have to get back to people. It's gonna be fun driving in the morning though. Lemon pie. Oh, lemon pie. Good evening. I'm about to wrap this up tonight, lemon pie, but you can watch and rewind. But I'm all the same, lemon pie. I'm glad you stopped by. I hope you had a terrific Thanksgiving if you celebrate it. Lemon pie. Lemon pie sounds good. That's one thing that we didn't have for Thanksgiving. It was like a lemon meringue or a key lime pie. We didn't have anything like that. We had pumpkin, apple. We had blueberry cheesecake, strawberry cheesecake. We had these. I don't know what you call them. My niece made them, but they were like a pumpkin spiced um, like dessert. They were kind of like round, about the size of a cupcake. But they were really super good. Is Crystal ever going to do a skit with you, Will? Probably not. Probably not. She finds them hilarious, but I don't know if she would ever do one with me. She's got. I mean, she already works 10-hour days, right, Cart? Yeah. Monday through Thursday, she works 4 10s, and then on top of that, she's got other outside things that she's doing within for our community. Locally, outside of our home for a nonprofit that she volunteers with. And then on top of that, she has her own YouTube channel that she's doing. By the way, I got to remember to put that in the description of the last episode of the podcast. Remind myself, I better make myself a note of that now. Before I forget, where's my pen? My pen. There it is. Sticky notes. Telling you, I keep this company in business. 3M. Put link in podcast for Crystal's channel. Pop. Boom. Sticky note right on top of the computer. Because I got to take that in with me. That would be the best. Yeah. There you go. Interpiece dropped the link. That's the link that I need to put in the podcast episode that we do. We have another channel that we do together. It's called the Taco Podcast. I forgot to put in the description the link to her YouTube channel. But she's pretty busy to answer your question, right, Cart? I mean, she's never expressed any interest in doing it. But then again, I've never really just like said, hey, would you do this skit with me? So who knows? I mean, I can't rule it out completely. Well, thank you, Interpiece. Just think all those links to different channels and stuff are going to get shortened up. Boop. With YouTube, because they're just now rolling out what's called YouTube handles. So the name of a channel, their handle will be the name of their channel. And I don't think that describes it completely correctly. So right now, if you go onto social media, like YouTube, and you put at 411 now, no space in there, it'll bring up everything that I run. It'll at least it will. Right now it doesn't work all that great. It does definitely bring up this channel 411 now, but in the future it'll show you each and every one of my channels, and it'll give a link to how it's controlled by me underneath the 411 now. Because I've got the 411 now, 411 now number 2, Taco Podcast. Then I have Inebriated Truth and the Longest Yard. Those are the channels that I have on YouTube. Now, I only actually technically post to 2, maybe 3 of those channels on it, any kind of difference at all. Yes, you have a handle, and so you're at Interpiece. If you have a YouTube channel, or and you have the ability to grab your YouTube channel name, I highly suggest you do it before the trolls out there start snagging up names. I know that Mr. Beast and Markiplier, both of them have already had issues where somebody else grabbed the YouTube channel for Mr. Beast and for Markiplier. So, because it gives you the option, the default option is your name of your channel. And that's your default. And then you have to, yes, that's the one I want, and then click yes, that's the one you want. Well, both of them kind of dropped the ball on clicking on it when it became available, and somebody else came in and it gives you the option. I would like this one instead. So somebody else took Mr. Beast and somebody else took Markiplier. You change the number. Interpiece 1. There you go. But I think YouTube is going to correct that for both of them, because they're both pretty big YouTube creators. And I don't know, but I've been invited to go to VidCon 2023. Don't know if I'm ever going to go. I'm not much into the celebrations like hip hop, yay, look at me, pat myself on the back kind of celebrations. I'm not into that. But at the same time, though, I might go just to network with other people. And I've been to one. That was probably about 4 years ago, somewhere in there. And I had my daughter go to one. She went to one that was I don't know if it was VidCon or it was, but it was one of them. But she went to the one in Anaheim, California. So I think that was VidCon, and they did do like 3 years worth of them there, but they're back now. K Dog rules. But one of those channels, though, I mean, probably 4112, the number 2 at the end of it. I'll probably, as things start to settle down, especially now that my wife schedule is, it's a lot more stable with her work. Maybe then I can, after the new year, I can look into maybe, on that channel 411 now, number 2, start doing, skits on that one. People have asked for me to drop some of the links to, me doing stand-up comedy. I thought about doing, dropping some of those on there as well. I've got 2 or 3 of them. I don't have all of them, but I'd have to go. Well, I don't even know if they keep them, but they used to. I haven't been back there in a while because I kind of got into a disagreement with management there. But maybe I'll do that. Maybe I won't. I don't know. We'll see. You can meet other YouTubers. Good networking. I do a pretty good job of networking right now, interpees. I've got 4 channels that are definite that want to do collaborations with me. And we also have Cement Shoes. I guess you could kind of call that a collaboration because next Friday we're doing trivia questions that Cement Shoes put together for us. So that's for next Friday. So we can call that a collaboration. But I've got 4 other channels that want to definitely do it right now, and then 3 additional ones that want to do it. I can't remember her name right off the top of my head. I want to say Snoop or Snoops is what she goes by the name of Snoops or Snoop on YouTube. But she does content that is kind of like mine, but it's hard to do collaborations, at least from my perspective, because most of the time the people that want to do it, all they want is me to do the work, and they want to just join, in on the fun up on screen. They don't want to put in the work, per se. So it's hard to kind of get people to understand. Look, I'll do this with you, but you got to put in 50 work as well. And I've had a couple other channels that that do trivia, that have contacted me. So who knows? Maybe that'll take off, and if nothing else, I can learn something from another creator just by networking with them. So VidCon is not cheap. It's definitely not cheap. Hotel, stay, food, lodging, all that stuff, there. Then the tickets to get into VidCon. And I don't exactly fit the demographic. A lot of these people who go now are TikTok, influencers, and they want to talk about YouTube shorts. I do shorts, but it's never gonna, pay the bills. What do you think about YouTubers Cinema Shogun? Reichardt, I've never heard of Cinema Shogun. So I hope that they make content that you like watching. So but I don't know who they are. Should I know who they are? Do they do content like mine? I mean, if I could pick, the people that I want to do content with, it would be a different story. But I mean, obviously, I'm not. I should back that up, reverse that. Um, I wanted the people who've reached out to me that want to do collaborations with me. I do want to do content with them, and collaborations with them. It's that the people. There are other YouTube channels that are out there that I would love to do work with. Um, I would love to do something with Mark Rober. I would love to do something with him because I think that we could um, not only promote what we do as YouTubers, but we could also help raise money and awareness for the autism as well, because we both have sons that are autistic on the spectrum. But I would love to do something with Mark. And we don't have much in the line of interest that would work for YouTube. I'm not making glitter bombs for porches, and I don't have any squirrels for my backyard to do Olympic games for. It's only one guy, and he's very smart. Well, I have nothing against doing things with with people that are smart. What's the content about, right, Cart? What does Cinema Shogun do? I would hope that it's something about cinema. Oh, that's on my list of things to watch, Interp, so don't spoil it. His Egg of Space. I saved that for later to watch. It's on my watch list. I mean, I've never worked with Mark, but I did help him raise money, for autism last time around when he had his special with Jimmy Kimmel and quite a few other celebrities. I helped raise money for that. And somewhere I used to have it up here on the wall, but his son sent me a very thick, like colored, page of paper, and we're talking that is thick amount of crayon. I don't know how you get that much crayon on a piece of paper, but he did it. It's pretty thick. He wrote a note on the opposite side of it. It was actually pretty cool. I don't know where that is right now. Like I said, it used to be up here where, before these two bookcases were here, I had it up on the wall. I don't even have all the stuff from, like, down here. This is another letter from a fan. That's what these ones back here are, left and right of the Willy Wonka. This is the Willy Wonka, the Candyman sheet music. But on the other sides are letters from fans and pictures. I have a P.O. box, in case anybody wants to write me a letter. You can find it on my About Me page, here on YouTube. So you just go to 411 Now, and community videos, stuff like that, all the way over to the right-hand side. It's About Me. It's got my P.O. box there. True crime and whatever he decides. Show decides to talk about, and he is skeptical about everything, questions everything. That's a good thing to have. That is a very good thing to have. Question everything. I started off with that as my premise for everything. That when I do my reporting, right, Cart, everything. I question everything about a case. Did the person actually do it? Do we know for a fact that this is what happened? Just because mainstream media says this person killed this person and that this person's dead, or we've recovered the remains of this person, I question everything about it. That's a good thing to have. Always question. I would rather be on the right side of history than the wrong side. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I do have to take off because, I'm almost out of coffee and I do have work besides this that I need to do tonight. But I want to thank everybody for stopping in and giving this a thumbs up. I really do appreciate it, and I hope that everyone has a great week ahead. So and stay safe out there. If you're still with your family or if they're around, and you celebrate the holiday, to remember family and the times that we can spend with them is fleeting. None of us are getting any younger and none of us are immortal. So do the best you can. And if you can't be with your family, you can't celebrate the holiday, celebrate just for yourself. So Reichardt, since you couldn't celebrate the holiday, Thanksgiving and be home with your loved ones, go get yourself a cupcake or something and just say, hey, you know what? This is for me, a special treat. Yeah, do something small, if nothing, just for yourself. Okay? I'm working also, Will. You have a great, stay safe out there. There's a lot of idiots on the road, especially this time of year. A lot of people don't think. But thank you again, everyone. Have a great